Pastor Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, honored guests. I am Scott, and I'm giving my icebreaker speech. And the name of the speech is Intersections. So, imagine that you have a car and it breaks down all the time, and you come to an intersection, and you're getting tired of this, and so finally you buy a Toyota, and it's like, great, you know, I can depend on this car. So, what can we depend on? That's kind of a theme that I wanted to put in my icebreaker speech. So, I was born in Tyler, Texas, in 1964 to a faithful father and mother. They had 4 kids, and I was number 4 of 4. And middle-class family, you know, pretty easy childhood. I liked baseball and played in elementary school through junior high, and my father coached me in baseball. And I grew up in the Methodist church, and my parents would be in the choir, and so I got to tag along being the baby of the family, and I got to hear Handel's Messiah. So, you know, this Bible verses through music kind of coming into my head. I wasn't sure what I was listening to, but, you know, it's a fond memory of mine, you know, just being able to be there and hear this. So, you know, I had a good childhood, little sports here and there, pretty good in school. You know, and in the 9th grade, we moved to this Baptist church. And if you wanted to join the church, you had to go get out to Lake Tyler and get baptized. And so this was really the first intersection for me, because my mom sat me down and she talked to me about commitment. And she was saying, well, you know, you got to figure this out, because you don't want to just put on an act and do this because everybody else is doing it. So that was the first big intersection for me. I loved chemistry in school. I studied it, and you know, I wanted to, and I've always wanted to try and divide like what's right from error. You know, so I pursued engineering. You know, I look at numbers. I'm like, this is wrong, so it needs to be like this, and it's just kind of the way I'm built. So I went to a junior college in Tyler, and I had a Calculus 2 professor, and he said something I'll never forget. He said, people respond to the challenge. And so that's always kind of stuck with me as I've moved along. So I went off to college and I drifted. You know, I went with the party lifestyle, but I ended up getting a civil engineering degree, and you know, I met my wife, and that was the second intersection, because I realized, you know, I'm kind of doing 2 things here. So if I want to marry this woman, I gotta quit going in this direction. So that was kind of my second intersection. So we moved to Los Angeles in 1989, much to my resistance. My wife is much more adventurous than me, but we got out here, and we had 3 kids, and I have 2 sons. One's in Austin, Texas. One is in Branson, Missouri, and my daughter is in Monrovia, a mile away, with 2 granddaughters. So we're loving life right now. So I've been a youth worker. I've you know, went to the Czech Republic once on a short-term mission trip, which was an unforgettable experience. And I've had a great career. I ended up at Disney. I don't know quite how. I started out with the Texas Highway Department of Public Works in LA, environmental engineering. I got to return to chemistry, even though I didn't get my chemical engineering degree. I got a civil engineering degree. I'm happy I got that. So, so I joined, you know, I just kind of pretty much obsessed with trying to figure out what the truth is. You know, I want to know what the truth is. So I joined Toastmasters to get better at presentation and to speak better. I want to grow in my being a dependable person. I want to be a better example to other people. And so you know, there's been some quandaries in these intersections, but you know, I want to pose this question, you know, does perfect faithfulness even exist? You know, are there any firm promises that will not be broken by any one or maybe three people. And so if that's the case, if that exists, what am I going to do after this speech? Is it going to change my life? Will it change your life? If that is something that we can find. So, Mr. Toastmaster, thank you very much.